Paige, who's on the next episode?
Hollis.
Who?
Hollis.
Mr. Michigan. Paige, did you go pick up my Postmates? So we're launching a new YouTube short series of segments interviewing people and just everyday people, getting to know what they're about, getting to know what their aspirations are. I know who you are, but why don't you introduce to the audience who you are and what you do for work?
Yeah, that's such a hard question. It's not hard, but I think it's just weird. I think you kind of tense up when people ask, like, tell me about yourself. But yes, I am Hollis, and I am an American actor, singer, songwriter, and I am a former pageant title holder. I started out with winning my state title with Mr. Michigan, United States.
Damn.
And then I competed. It was a 16-week pageant. I'm not sure if you're familiar with Miss USA. So Mr. United States is the brother organization to that organization.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, so then I finished and then my reign got extended.
How does one's reign get extended?
The director of the pageant, he is the one that extended it by contract. So when I competed, this was in 2020, so this was all during the pandemic. And we were one of the only pageant organizations to actually compete in a pandemic virtually. And it came out a great success. But then, of course, with everything that happened, I live in Los Angeles, but I competed as Mr. Michigan, United States, because that was the town that I grew up in.
Sure.
Although I haven't lived there in 11 years, that's how I chose to compete. And in LA, I'm not sure if you're in LA, but we were yeah. So if you remember, we were like on our third lockdown. Yes. And everything that happened in the world. And then with the whole, what was it? Not the COVID, but the second part of the COVID that came in.
The Delta variant?
Yeah, the Delta variant. Thank you. So when all that happened, the director, he was just like, look, I'm just gonna go ahead and extend the reign, just finish out strong, and we'll go from there. So that's kind of what I've been doing. So that ended this year around March, and just been working on my music and still auditioning, just being an everyday person at home, taking care of my dog.
Well, I mean, there is always all that, but let's go back to the good stuff.
Yeah.
Your reign, darling. So are you going to go back when they do the pageant in person, and do you like hand the crown off to the next person?
So we haven't even gotten to all that just yet. Right now, everything is kind of on hiatus.
Okay.
But typically that does happen. But right now, I don't really have an answer for any of that, because right now they took a year off.
When you get all the details, will you come back and share it with us so we can follow you?
Of course, I'm going to tell you the details. I'm not going to leave you hanging.
Okay, just making sure. And then what's going on with you and your acting right now, and you and your music? Anything you want to chat about? Anything coming out?
Well, I just released my third single, which is actually my second single from my upcoming EP album. That single is called Your Love Is. I released it this summer.
Where can we cop that?
You can actually find it everywhere. It's on Apple Music. It's on Spotify. Spotify seems to be the go-to for everyone. That's where a lot of my streams have actually come in, honestly. But you can find it on YouTube. You can Google it. It's on my website. It's everywhere. So I'm just happy to really release that. And that song I created, basically, it's more like a feel-good song. And, during a time of uncertainty, everyone's kind of down and depression is high. And, I just want to lift everyone's spirits. So basically the purpose of me even writing that song is to kind of get people to understand that they are loved and they are capable of giving love. Sometimes people walk around and they have that old love they miss, or they're in a marriage and they, kind of forget, the reason why they fell in love. So just kind of tying that all in together, just help them remember what love is.
Oh, I love that. Have you always been this way? Would you say, like, since you were 10, like you've had like this like love vibe kind of energies. That's how your parents would describe you, because that's the vibe I'm getting off of you. And
Thank
so I'm
you.
like, is he, but then there are people who aren't like that, who've turned into that, you know what I mean, through growth and stuff, you know, like emotional growth. And like, I just was curious as to what your story was.
I'm gonna say probably since the day I was born, I was filled with that kind of love. Just because you know, I saw my parents do that. I never saw my parents fight, not saying that they didn't, but whatever they did behind closed doors. I always saw
Yeah.
them dancing, I always saw them kissing. You know, my grandparents have a great marriage before my grandfather passed. My grandmother's still living, but my grandfather passed almost 8 years ago, and they were married for over 40, almost 45 years. So, you know, just really spreading love and just really trying to give it has always been instilled in me.
Yeah.
And I think that kind of also had me be the odd one out, which kind of sounds weird. But, you know, I think when you're filled with positivity, a lot of people, especially in a world full of chaos, and they want to follow that, you know, it's easier to be negative.
Ugh, what a warm, fuzzy way to end this interview. So my last question to you actually was, what do you think makes you unique? I kind of got a huge vibe as to what I feel makes you unique. And it was like all of that you just like put out there, the
Yeah,
positivity and the love. What do you think makes you unique before we close out? And also drop all of your contact info at the end of this
I will.
um, segment as well.
I will. I think what makes me unique is I just honestly just stick true to myself. You know, I don't like to be a follower. You know, I just kind of do me and really just go with the flow. And I'm learning now more to just live in the present instead of just being so focused on the future and
Yeah.
what could be. I don't want to miss the small stuff and all the happy things that are happening now that will make me who I am. Because, you know, yesterday I dreamt of today, and 10 years ago I dreamt of where I am today. So let me not just miss out on
We're going to have you come close every show.
that.
Such a feel good. Let's do the next segment with you, the segment after, the segment after. Thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you.
And
And I'm always happy to come back, you know.
yes, come back with updates. And how can we all follow you?
My Twitter is the Hollis M, and my Instagram is the Hollis Morrissette.
Hollis, I freaking adore you.
Thank you for everything that you're doing. I'm so happy about your show and how everything is really going. And
God,
I already feel the warmth, and everything that you're doing is pure joy. And I do see great success with it, of
oh, oh my God, thank you so much.
course. Have a great Saturday. Bye.
You too. Bye.